Hello and welcome to our weekly news roundup. Thank you so much for choosing UBC to inspire you. We are live coming to you from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. My name is Sandra Kahunde, bringing you the weekly news roundup, activities and top stories that transpired during the week. And getting into our details for the day. Today happens to be the 18th of September 2022. And now starting off, we take you to Parliament, where we did have quite a number of events turning around. We saw members of Parliament this week condemning the motion moved by the European Union Parliament to block the construction of Uganda's oil pipeline on allegations of environmental and human rights abuses. The MPs described the motion as unfair, saying Uganda is a sovereign country whose independence should not be undermined. The condemnation was after the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, communicated to the House about the decision by European Parliament. We have the details in this report.
According to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, the European Parliament sat earlier this year to debate the oil pipeline for Uganda's crude oil that is to be constructed from Uganda to Tanzania. The EU Parliament resolved that the 1,445-kilometer crude oil pipeline should be blocked from being constructed over environmental concerns and human rights violations by Uganda. The motion further recommends the EU members not to provide any diplomatic or financial support to the project. During the Thursday sitting, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, condemned the move by the EU Parliament, terming it the highest form of economic racism against Uganda and Africa at large.
Because these are projects which were approved by the Parliament of Uganda, the Parliament of a sovereign country, and anything to do with challenging their approval, including some which are embedded in laws that were passed by this House, is an affront to the independence of this House, and we cannot take it lying low. I condemn this motion and resolution that was passed, which calls on Uganda and Tanzania to stop the development of the oil and gas project in the East African region.
The Deputy Speaker urged the EU Parliament to withdraw the motion.
It is prudent to say that Uganda's oil projects will exacerbate climate change. Yet it is a fact that the EU bloc with only 10% of the world's population is responsible for 20% of global emissions. And Africa, with 20% of the world's population, is only responsible for 3% of global emissions. The European Union and other Western countries are historically responsible for climate change. Not Africa, not Uganda, not East Africa.
The Deputy Speaker was backed by various members of Parliament from different political parties, but this time speaking the same language of urging the EU MPs to respect Uganda's sovereignty as a state.
Mr. Speaker, Uganda is not part of the European Parliament. Uganda is part of IALA. We have our East African Parliament.
I want first of all to express my dismay that another parliament somewhere can rise up to take a decision on behalf of a parliament which is seated in the right place. I thought this was the right parliament, because these are the right issues for us to discuss. Right, Honorable Speaker, there are two issues that those people can do. One, come and help us to deal with the issues that you feel we have not dealt with in terms of managing the environment.
Others termed the move as a neo-colonial issue that Ugandan Parliament should resist.
There is actually totally nothing to fear when it comes to environmental issues. But we know very well historically that several cities of Europe are built on the blood and sweat of the African people. This is our time also to elevate ourselves from the neo-colonialism status that we are left in. Nobody should touch the oil project, because we are talking about an investment of over $20 billion. No one in this parliament and outside should entertain any discussion that frustrates the extraction of our oil and gas.
The State Minister for Regional Affairs, John Mulumba, pledged to take the matter to the Cabinet for further management.
Speaker, I'll beg for your indulgence to escalate the same to us as Minister of Foreign Affairs, and guided by the principles and purposes which are enshrined in the United Nations Charter on Equality of Sovereign States for maintenance of international relations, peace and security. We will study and be able to give a guided response.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Parliament.
The first Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, this weekend assured the public of a ready market for vocational skills across the globe. Kadaga was officiating the third graduation ceremony of Nawanyago, a technical institute in Kamuli district.
The first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, says the high unemployment rate in the country is worrying. Presiding over the third graduation ceremony of Nawanyango Technical Institute in Kamuli district, Kadaga emphasized the availability of markets for skilled labor.
One of our children had actually got a job in State House as a cook. I don't know how we are faring. So when I put our Kobera, Tiawana was a man, Sanadia Green. Pinawa na from State House. I went to the office of your former David Gaide of Somi, a children Parwa Dino by Dapuja the qualifications. Tufunye abatunzi abebyalani banjino bana tulifika sente ewe ndamu bonayo ko the Christian yoko the body tukamutunga.
Kadaga informed the gathering to take advantage of Nawanyango Technical Institute for the affordable vocational skilling training.
Be abali muno bayina magezi era nabasoka n'okufuna omulimu wowe kandi agambuka ali ku the first year ko the second year muna funera na kalibalwa nobo ekyo abana bayereke basomyi. Let me thank our friends for the friendship because you have been consistent, and I'm really delighted that you have been able to give partial scholarships to our students.
The institute is funded by Government of Uganda and the Private Sector Foundation and Africa Friendship Association from Turkey. The Africa Friendship Association president said the association is committed to supporting less privileged students with hands-on skills training.
Start this project by giving scholarships. We started giving scholarship to 5 students, 5 Muslim students, but we have reached 30, 46, and this year we sponsored 75 students.
The institute's principal Kumwinza Rose disclosed that the training programs are designed to fit in the gas and oil sector with over 39% females.
Uniquely talented graduates under the UBC qualifications, and those were assessed by UBC under the formal arrangement. We have 108 from the modular assessments conducted by the Directorate of Industrial Training and 175 graduates who have acquired international qualifications by city and guilds. As an institute, to the graduates, we've provided you with very special and unique experiences which should propel you to the best you can be. We have confidence in you.
The ceremony attracted 512 graduates who majored in plumbing, carpentry, designing, among others.
Got a certificate in plumbing, which is a very good course. So I encourage other females to do that course because it is a very good one.
Over 2.7 million euros is invested by Trust Fund annually in northern Uganda to aid communities affected by Lord's Resistance Army War. This was revealed by Trust Fund monitoring team that has been in northern Uganda for the last 1 week.
The Embassy of Ireland in Uganda, together with Trust Fund for Victims, has for some time been assisting communities in northern Uganda that were affected by the Lord Resistance Army War. The Trust Fund for Victims is funded to the tune of 2.7 million euros annually.
We understand that there are tens of thousands of more victims, and so our work continues. We have projects ongoing now, and we have projects that we will be implementing next year as well. So we understand the magnitude of the problem is great. We are trying to mobilize, and we are trying to efficiently use the resources that we have available to us.
With the need to monitor these programs, delegates from the Embassy of Ireland and Trust Fund for Victims have visited victims and projects in northern Uganda.
We wanted also to engage government of Uganda in order to work together also assuring the continuity of these programs. We also wanted to raise awareness to the situation, to the still tragic situation that those victims are going through.
More than 60,000 people in northern Uganda have directly benefited from these programs, and over 350,000 people have indirectly benefited.
They make these small enterprise, small business decisions to grow their household income, taking small loans or working together on income generation activities, buying goats or pigs, or they do agriculture programs, or they do fruit and vegetable activities.
Delegates say although a lot has been done due to the prolonged impact of the war on these people, more support and relief is still required.
The suffering of those victims, and we will come and speak to civil society, to local leaders, to district leaders, to the government, to discuss what is it, how can we best address their needs, and then develop a reparation plan and move forward with the implementation of reparations.
Part that relates to addressing the harm of the victims of this violence. And a lot of things have been done in this regard also since 2004, and all these projects that have been developed in the area by the Trust Fund for Victims with implementing partners are indeed intended to address this harm.
This was disclosed in the media brief held in Kampala, also attended by the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao. Mao commended the Trust Fund for Victims together with other funders for the support to the people of northern Uganda.
But wars don't just happen. Wars happen because of decisions made by leaders. Sometimes they neglect the failure to act positively by governments. State failures drive conflict. State failures undermine the ability of a government to respond. I would like to pledge that I'll report faithfully to the government the challenges you have posed to us to ensure that we do our part.
The week-long visit by Trust Fund for Victims and other delegates to northern Uganda ended with a media brief in Kampala. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugode, UBC News.
I would request if you
In other activities of the week, a Bukedia District Health Officer says over 70% of current disease burden in the district is due to malaria fever. Dr. Stephen Ikodet was speaking at a 3-day health camp organized by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among.
District Health Officer Dr. Stephen Ikodet has attributed a rise in malaria cases in the district to lack of mosquito nets. Dr. Ikodet says government gave out a one-off mosquito nets 3 years ago and they are now worn out.
A few challenges we had here were referrals, which the Right Honourable Speaker sent us a new ambulance. And of course, but the burden of disease is still a problem, like malaria is coming up, it's a burden. Government gave out mosquitoes some 3 years ago, and normally after 3 years, these nets degenerate and people go back to square one. So one of the biggest burdens of disease in the district has been malaria, diarrheal diseases.
He says that over 70% of the current diagnosis in the district shows that malaria is the leading cause of death in the district. This was during a 3-day health camp organized by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among.
The most emphasis I would want the camps to put emphasis is the non-communicable diseases, things like diabetes, things like high blood pressure, among others, because they are hidden. Most of these people don't carry out those tests. People fall sick, they only get facilities when they are in different stages of screening. We are also going to have interest in screening cervical cancer. You know, most of the facilities don't do that. So you find that these people are left out, people are treated, the conditions are not curing, and then they have underlying factors. And of course, we're also going to extend to stretch to test for HIV as well.
The 3-day medical camp that is taking place in all the health facilities across the district is being undertaken by over 200 medical interns from the 10 medical schools across the country.
So as a federation, we feel like by us also engaging and coming to, like, we are here today in Bukedea to provide free health services to the people of Bukedea. It's always key because most of the times the people are suffering, and there's a lot of information, medical information, off-the-counter drug use. So by us being here, we are going to have sessions of health education, testing, examining our patients, and also giving them drugs. Those who are complicated, we will be referring them to the higher level units that are within, and also Mbale Regional Referral. So we are here to impact lives, to treat the people of Bukedea.
Bukedea residents turned up in big numbers and commended the health camp that they say has helped them to receive health care at no cost.
As we have been suffering with the sickness, but the doctors were not enough, but we are happy to the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament for what she has done to Bukedea district today.
Going to health centers, but the number is too much, so we could not get the treatment. We could not be tested, and even the machines could get spoiled sometimes, and we go for private local, and we don't have money. And we are happy today that we are getting free examinations, free treatment, everything free.
I used to come here because I'm the born of this place, and this is the place where I've been getting treatment from. And the service here has been poor because you come in the morning, you go late in the evening, like at around 6 p.m. But at least today, I'm also going back early.
Though Bukedea district has a population of over 300,000 people, it has no district hospital and only one health center for. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Bukedea.
Government this week promised to address the challenge of damaged roads and bridges in Ruchiga district following the heavy rains that affected the area. This was communicated by the State Minister for Transport, Minister Musa Echweru, during his visit to the district following the heavy rains that affected the area, leaving bridges and roads destroyed.
The State Minister for Works and Transport, Musa Echweru, has visited Ruchiga district to check on the dangers by heavy rains impact on the infrastructure there. The minister in his entry visited 4 main bridges that were washed away by heavy rains and promised them that the government is working towards fixing these bridges.
And we did direct engineers to come and make an assessment. An assessment of the bridge has been done, fortunately. Our coming here is to just bring the engineers again to see how best they can update this report so that it is in tandem with the developments that have taken place over the month. And then we go and sit. I know some people are saying, where will the government of Uganda get all the money to do this bridge? We have done roads which are so many thousands of kilometers. I am very optimistic that God will provide us resources to fix this bridge.
Bridges that were washed away by floods include Chitaraka Bridge, which connects 2 parishes.
And on the other hand, these bridges, like where we went in Kabisha, you've all witnessed, children were not able to cross to access the schools, to the business people were not crossing. And I have a feeling, the fact that the minister is here and he has given us this time, I have a feeling they are going to intervene immediately.
The woman member of Parliament Ruchiga District, Kamsime Caroline, highlights on the effects of floods in the area.
If at all there is an emergency, first of all, it is not fenced. We all know it's a porous border. The security, the LRDC, sometimes we've always got complaints about the cows coming from the other side. Definitely, without roads, without these bridges, there is no way how they can access. As security, there is no way how they can move around the district, especially Kamwezi sub-county where we have the border.
Area Member of Parliament India Mujenyi Lowland says roads are a key aspect of development, mainly for connectivity.
Roads, water and electricity, they are the most important aspects of human life and the economy. So when the bridges are caving in, when the roads are impassable, as the minister said, lives are being lost, property is being lost, business is being lost, and it affects everyone, you know, everyone, including the government, because you cannot get taxes when people are not earning.
Moving on, West Nile residents are demanding for extension of strengthening education systems for improved learning project that is about to expire. They say home learning has shown tremendous change in their children's knowledge as they are able to read and write in the local languages. This was during a visit by a team from the Ministry of Education and Sports, led by the State Minister for Education in charge of primary education, Joyce Moriko Kadichu, to understand the impact of the Cecil project.
Government through the Ministry of Education established strengthening education systems for improved learning program, where a community-led learning would improve literacy and numeracy of marginalized boys and girls in lower primary levels. The 5-year strengthening education systems for improved learning project, funded by the government of the United Kingdom, will end in August 2023. Parents have testified that the community-led learning under Cecil project has improved their children's ability to understand what is being taught in the primary schools they go to.
Now I've come to know that the girl is improving terribly. I'm now thanking the government of Uganda and the government of UK.
When she comes home, they come and learn in the evening here. But she's now improving.
A parent whose home is also a learning center in Okokoro Town Council, Bernard Mademaga, is worried on how the initiative can be sustained after the end of the project by 2023.
The issue of sustainability is now going to be a problem to us because the teacher may need a bit of soap and the time wasted.
The education officer, Maracha District, Flavia Oswa, explains how the community-led learning is improving learning in the district.
The promotion who achieved full Petum numeracy competency learning, that they could do all 7 tasks in the Uwezo assessment, increased from 8% to 22%, which means community-led learning is showing progress.
Based on testimonies from parents and their children, State Minister for Education in charge of primary education, Dr. Joyce Moriko Kadichu, is impressed with the outcomes of Cecil project in West Nile.
From the presentation and from the look of things, the program has registered quite a lot of success stories. The children have testified, the parents have spoke about it.
She thanked the government of the United Kingdom for supporting the initiative and expressed disappointment over attitudes of learners in West Nile and Eastern Uganda.
These are the regions that is putting us to walk with our heads down in terms of results outcome. I was in Imoy on Friday in one of the schools. P3 boys are involved in eating miraa.
This is what she said on how the community-led learning may be sustained beyond 2023.
But also we want to start to discuss the issue of sustainability, the community to take full charge of the program. We do not want to see these centers collapse. The district has to factor this in our budget. What we need basically is to motivate the teacher.
The Cecil program is currently in 15 local governments from West Nile and Eastern Uganda, in which West Nile has 9 districts benefiting. However, Many factors like teenage pregnancy and drug abuse have led to high dropout rates in West Nile. In the case of Maracha district, the completion rate stands at 12% out of total enrollment from primary 1. Joseph Odama, UBC News.
Over 500 tenants in Nakalanga village and Njeru sub-county, Buyiko district, are said to be living in fear of eviction following a directive from their landlord to buy their tenancy rights at a cost that seems expensive for them. The outcry was made during a recent committee meeting, also known as a Baraza, with their leaders to forge a way forward on the looming eviction.
Among the laws governing the Landlord and Tenant Act of Uganda is the tenant or squatter being given a 6 months notice of termination of tenancy before their landlord. However, tenants in Nakalanga village, Njeru sub-county, Buyiko district, have appealed to government to intervene in a looming eviction by their landlord, who has reportedly set conditions of either they pay for their tenancy rights at 15 million shillings per acre or unceremoniously vacate.
Bomba temukiriza kwesarako bakwegula bagenda basenda
kazi watu ngabwendi nze ndina mwandu sina kasente wadde akaki engaba nanze yenuma ku ttaka lino sina kyennumirwa sengaba nalongoosa ku ttaka lino engaba ffe tujja kubanga tukoze milioni 15 sizirabangako bukyanzaalibwa siwavangako na milioni 5 mu ngalo za kazi.
The landlord, only identified as John Nkutu, is alleged to have stopped tenants from paying ground rent, which is against the law.
Tuwadde emyezi egi bomba temukiriza kwesarako bakwegula bagenda basenda naye olwaliro bw'aba ayimirira wano yeegaana abatuze bakoze eki baba ayita ate ng'ebiwandiiko byo.
The squatters or tenants disclose that their landlord has now started sending them strangers to intimidate them. However, tenants suggested an impeachment of their chairperson for allegedly conniving with their landlord John Nkutu to evict them on short notice without following the bona fide occupant's concession. The chairperson, Buyiko District, Jime Kanabi, says the landlord must follow the right procedures. These include tenants enjoying security of occupancy on the land may acquire a certificate of occupancy by applying through the landowner, may assign, pledge and create third-party rights in the land without consent of the landowner, among others. According to the law, tenants have an opportunity to acquire land on which they have been staying for over 10 years before the landlord sells it to another person. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Water and Environment are grappling with squatters' encroachment on a chunk of land within Kayunga Forest Reserve. This was demonstrated during the Bamgemerere Commission, where leaders disclosed that they fear for their lives to comment on the said parceling out chunks of land within Kayunga Forest Reserve.
The community has been at arms saying what is happening. But of course they also have to act silently because these guys are hostile. They are armed. These people, you may not sleep in your home.
It was noted that Kayunga District Land Board has on many occasions connived with the wealthy persons who are occupying these conserved fragile ecosystems.
Got a communication from anything Abagamba. Don't title out Bajo land. Actually, there were like 3 gazetted forest reserves.
Denying that they are titles?
I cannot say I'm denying, but I am not aware.
Are you sure that there are no titles?
I am not 100% sure.
So what do you know as a senior land management officer? Because you see, you also have to be serious. I have a whole big file like this of titles. So if you come and say you don't know that they are titles, I begin to wonder whether you know your job.
From this side, my lord.
It's not from this side. It is how does the title come out? You have already had complaints. If you've had complaints, did you write to anybody to say, by the way, this is a forest, don't title it?
Kayunga district officials were faulted for giving out public land under dubious circumstances.
Bajo Forest Reserve, Central Forest Reserve is the biggest of them. It's the largest. It has 3,373 hectares, which is about 10,000 acres of land. And what you can see with your eyes is that there's a lot of shrub. they could have more trees and more forest cover. I think that tree cover is not very much. It is also encroached upon in that people have titles.
The three central forest reserves of Wamale, Bajo and Kihura were illegally titled by Kayunga District Land Board. Wamale Central Forest Reserve, with 150,000 hectares, has been encroached upon by sugarcane growing.
The owners of this sugarcane plantation are called GM, and their sugarcane plantation comes all the way from Wamale to where we are now, which is called Kihura Central Forest Reserve. Kihura Central Forest Reserve is also somewhere in Galilaya, in this area called Galilaya, and it's this area of Kihura is 2,147 hectares, which is about 6,000 acres. And as you can see, there's fresh excavation.
Efforts were mooted to create boundaries to protect Katosil Lake Reserve so that people do not go beyond its buffer zone. This followed encroachment on protected areas within the area. Land remains a contentious issue in Uganda since most people's livelihoods depends on agriculture. So that Kaye, UBC News.
Government is yet to work on modalities to ensure that coffee nursery bed operators supply their mature seedlings to farmers on credit as they wait for their payment from government. In a statement presented to Parliament by the State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Doe, this week, the Office of the Vice President and Prime Minister are yet to take action as per the President's directive.
When you look at the timing of our farmers, the seasons are getting done.
Since 2015, government through Uganda Coffee Development Authority has been supporting farmers by procuring seedlings for them from nursery bed operators. However, this initiative was temporarily halted following the launch of the parish development model. The intention, according to government, was to allow farmers procure seedlings using their loans acquired through the PDM circle.
Along the policy shift, from then the distribution of inputs to the farmers to now acquiring inputs on their own with the support of loans obtained from parish-based circles.
According to Devoted Farmers Initiative, the revision of the seedlings procurement process not only affected them, but also affected farmers whose planting schedules have been altered.
And the nursery operators have already invested a lot of money in raising the seedlings. This was very abrupt because UCDA never informed us that they are not buying the seedlings this season to give to the farmers.
This compelled them to petition Parliament requesting government to allow them distribute their overgrown seedlings on credit, since the changes were done without consulting them.
Especially the communication by UCDA, where they need them to only use coffee cuttings.
In the statement presented to Parliament on the government's position, Minister for Fisheries Helen Doe told Parliament that the directive of the President is being implemented at the Office of the Vice President and that of the Prime Minister.
The President directed the Vice President and the right Prime Minister to work out modalities through which nursery operators could supply the available seeds to the farmers, and then government pays for these seedlings at a later time.
The President's directive was to first streamline modalities before allowing the nursery bed operators to distribute their overgrown seedlings on credit as they wait for their payment.
Vice President and the Right Honorable Prime Minister are underway. Look at the modalities that these seedling operators will supply on credit, and then
come back and tell us whether you have allowed farmers to pick seedlings or not.
This in anticipation will save them a loss of over 500 billion from overgrown seedlings and accumulated bank loans acquired as capital for the establishment of nursery beds. Susan Naung and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
Stakeholders in the sugar industry this week raised concerns on the sustainability of the sugarcane outgrowers scheme. For enhanced sector governance and regulation, our government is urged to revisit and expedite the 2010 National Sugar Policy and the Sugar Act 2020. Top on the recommendations geared at sanitizing the sector by the Economic Policy Research Center is the constitution of the National Sugar Board.
In the last 2 decades, Uganda has made significant strides in sugarcane production and processing. This progress is closely linked to the liberalization of the subsector. Between 2005 and 2014, sugar processing mills increased from 4 to 12. Currently, there are 19 mills located in eastern, western, northern, and central regions of the country. However, the steady growth of the sugar industry has often been blamed for causing food insecurity and land fragmentation in the cane-growing areas.
That is not true. Instead, it has improved greatly the welfare of our farmers.
Let's come up with bylaws not to allow people who do not have 2.5 hectares of land to grow cane. And of course, that one should be after removing land for the food.
They acknowledge their industry is facing numerous challenges that can be sorted out through government intervention and stakeholders' empowerment, especially for the local farmers.
Government, please, let it be a policy that for someone to put up a sugarcane processing factory, you must explore the entire value chain.
The traders are known. Those who own mills are traders. For us, we are growers. Let us remain in the Ministry of Agriculture. Let there be a budgeting to support sugarcane, but also most importantly, let them support the formation of the National Association of Cane Farmers so that we go stronger.
This was at the 10th National Forum on Agriculture and Food Security held in Kampala. Organized by the Economic Policy Research Center and development partners, the event sought to revisit policy, institutional, regulatory arrangements in the country's sugarcane sector. The Makerere University-based think tank disseminated key findings on a recently conducted research and made recommendations on sector governance and regulation.
The country is growing. We are industrializing, and the new byproducts and products are coming from the industry, sugar. Electricity. Now you realized how the country started developing self-sufficiency in the production of sanitizers. Those are new byproducts that are coming on the market and they have really gained traction. We have electricity, then the molasses. Now, if the pricing is becoming a challenge, does the new reality or what the challenge that is the pricing include those byproducts? Because we have industrialized and there is a market for those byproducts that is growing in the country.
About 29,000 farming households engage in cane production in Uganda, and these farmers employ an estimated 640,000 people. The outgrowers contribute approximately 198 billion shillings per annum to national income. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Now returning shortly with the updates from the business world on what transpired throughout the entire week. Keep watching. It is our business. It is our news, a weekly roundup coming your way every Sunday. Shortly after these messages, I return.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Oh, they look nice.
Thank you, honey.
Yo!
You guys gather, it's going down. Gather! Gather!
Yo!
I tell you what.
Yo! Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire. Bigger monthly bundles, all for the same price, and stay connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Get the 4G smartphone of your dreams today and pay as you use. Choose from the Tecno Pop 5 Pro, Tecno Pova Neo, Samsung A03 Core or Nokia C10 and pay conveniently in daily, weekly and monthly installments for a period of a year using Airtel Money. You will also enjoy free 3GB and 100% bonus data on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months. Visit any D-Lite shop or select Airtel Money branches countrywide and get one today. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. It is your weekly news roundup coming your way every Sunday, and we are live. My name is Sandra. Now, on to our business activities during the week, we see research findings by Traweza East Africa on citizens' views and experience of business and tax environment, revealing that 45% of Ugandans have started their own businesses in the past 5 years. This was during the release of the Sauti za Wananchi, literally translated as Citizens' Views report at an event held right here in Kampala.
Start a business despite fears of tax payment, lack of startup capital, and lack of other incentives. Data gathered from 2,900 respondents between 15th January to 7th February and 24th April to 12th May 2022 indicates that 45% of Ugandans have ventured into personal business. The survey also indicates that 16% of Ugandans engage in agriculture, 9% are in wholesale and retail trade, 6% are hawkers, 5% are into other small-scale services such as saloons, while 3% are in brewing and alcohol selling. Ugandans also have mixed-up feelings. Unpaid taxes that constitute 19%, customs duty 16%, property tax 15%, local tax 14%, to mention but a few.
Understand the citizens' opinions on business and the tax environment. What we have unearthed in these findings is that the key challenge that businesses face is capital, access to capital, that to a point that for those that closed, when we ask what are some of the reasons their businesses closed, we see lower mentions of COVID-19 coming up. So the key thing is capital, cost of inputs. Those are the major challenges that businesses are facing.
Findings are actually revealing. They corroborate what the internal assessments that we've had as the tax administration. Even what was within 2019 and 2018-2019, what the domestic revenue mobilization strategy had actually indicated that yes, there are gaps within the staff integrity, and the recommendation that we set up an integrity function to dedicate itself to to growing that culture within URA, within the processes, and within our systems. So we know there is work to do.
A celebrated economist and lecturer at Makra University, Dr. Fred Muhumuza advised against levying a lot of taxes against business persons hit by COVID-19 2 years ago.
Let's not forget that the targets for URA are set on assumptions of what the economic growth will be like in the coming year, how the businesses will perform. Now, URA has the task of actually walking into these entities, and sometimes you walk to the entity and you're able to realize that the business is not performing as predicted. To really be realistic, let's know that the global economy is going into a recession, especially some of the key drivers of the global economy in Europe. We are seeing challenges there. We're seeing China has challenges. They still have a zero COVID tolerance policy. And China is a major driver and a major trader, but we're also seeing shortfalls of food here. We're seeing schools are not picking up as fast, meaning households are also not picking up as fast. So I think we need to be very realistic, very moderate, and set very moderate targets for the coming year. Do not get into very ambitious things of spending on items that can really be deferred.
Ivan Juko for UBC News.
More from the world of business. The local council won and residents of Kasato village, Amengo Kisenyi 2 parish, Kampala Central, this week applauded government for reconstructing Mwanga 2 road into a modern city road. This was during a community sensitization meeting on usage of the road organized by the road contractor Starling in Kasato village.
Local communities and leaders of Kasato village in the parish of Mengo Kisenyi 2 in Kampala Central have expressed gratitude over reconstruction of Mwanga 2 road. The 1.1 kilometer road is constructed by Starling Road contractors with funding from Kampala Capital City Authority. According to residents, the exercise will reduce carnage on the road and foster development in the village.
Government yeriko ndimusanyufu nnyo manifesto yaffe. This road we are going to use it very neatly.
Tewali accidents ezigenda okubaawo era kugenda kutuyamba nnyo.
Era kijja kuba kituyambako n'okufuna enkulaakulana mu kitundu kyaffe. Twali tuwuliranga ez'omu byalo bazikola nnyo naye kati olwali tuli basanyufu kubanga ez'omu kibuga zikolebwa.
Netusaba n'abatuuze manhools baleme zisula mu kasasiro.
Local authorities, including the chairperson Kasato village, Sande Nkoyo, say the reconstruction exercise is timely and urge the road users, especially the business community, to preserve and avoid hazardous activities on the road.
Tukirize NRM ekoze niti twakono nanguduza okwekalakasa nojja nondya ekibya n'okiteeka ku kolas kibeera fengo tufiiriza ekibiina kyaffe.
Our mechanics people want to do their work alongside the road because these roads are being damaged by oil.
Kuyiwako kasasiro balimena kuyiwako mazzi ga sabbuuni naddala abalinaanyeewo buvunaanyizibwabwo ng'omutuuze okulaba nti okuma oluguudo luno ffenna tusobole okulwenyumirizaamu.
All these were during a sensitization meeting between Starling road contractors and communities on immoral behaviors and theft of road construction materials, among others. I'm Navka Farida and Robert Bwaita.
Cricket over go ekulantede wamita mutujo mutusibu Wabula October Bilal Musaba Gardens Mukono, October Mukaga Millennium Gardens Sazibuaya, October Munanaji Montelembara, 15 October, 40 Poto Muchisawe, Abidi October, Bale Sports Center, Mutwalo Kumo, Yebe Mtwale Satu, Emeza Million Yemo, Wabula Bantwalo Kumia, Abanda Gula Tickets Wakosa MTN Momo, Banjagusa Sulan Komitano, Binanga Romo Center, Hiva Motors, Galaxy FM, Radio 4, Kagwila War, MTN.
It's back! After 2 years away, the Uganda International Trade Fair is back! The Uganda Manufacturers Association excitedly invites you to the 28th Uganda International Trade Fair from October 3rd to October 10th. Visit more than 1,000 manufacturers, traders, distributors, and business people from all sectors at the UMA Showgrounds in Lugogo. We are back to innovation, products, and world-class manufacturing excellence. Entrance fee is 10,000 shillings only. Select manufacturers will offer discounted prices of up to 50%. Enjoy live performances from your favorite artists as we celebrate 60 years of Uganda's independence. To book space, call 0703 552 444.
We have got big dreams of transforming our university so that it can be empowered to transform our society, to move our society, to move our people out of poverty in the fastest way possible. And we have got projects through which we want to do this. We want to be a more research-led university. We want to do more research to solve Uganda's and Africa's problems. And of course, the problems of humanity, just like we have solved some before, including the wonderful research in HIV, producing very good products that are helping the entire world to solve the issues of HIV. We have also come up with innovations in agriculture, in engineering. We were the first to come up with an electric car on the continent, but we believe that we can do this on an even bigger scale, including coming up with a university teaching and research hospital. We are the leaders in tropical medicine, but we don't have a hospital which will assist us to do more research. We want to come up with the science and technology and business incubation center so that this center can help not just our students, but all young people who have got great ideas on producing products that are going to transform our economy, give employment to our people. And of course, we want to come up with a student center so that our students can have a one-stop center where they can solve all the issues that they have. We want also to improve the entire infrastructure, including the accommodation for our students. All this will require our stakeholders to hold our hand, to move together with them for us to be able to realize that. Please, you can follow us on our website, www.mac.ac.ug, and there are special pages there dedicated to 100 years celebrations.
Welcome back. Good to know you're still watching. Now getting to our sports activities that happened during the week. That is to do with Apeche War Stadium. Now after gaining the city status, a renovation of major buildings in Gulu City started. Apeche War Memorial Stadium is one of the facilities that have been renovated. Details in this report.
Eastern Major Sports Stadium in northern Uganda has received a facelift after a year of refurbishment. Founded in 1950, the stadium has been hosting major sports events until when it was declared unfit for matches. The toilet facilities, the VIP area and the pavilion had dilapidated until the district administration thought wise to close it for a meantime. A call for private investors came through and Kansai Plascon came through investing 70 million shillings in rehabilitating the stadium. The refurbishment involved fully replacing the toilet facilities, window glasses, plus working on the perimeter wall before repainting the entire stadium.
We are excited to see the work that has been completed here. It's a project that has cost us just under 75 million shillings to not just rehabilitate but paint and clean up the stadium, refurbish some of the washrooms and the facilities inside the stadium and make it conducive for our athletes. We know as a brand that sports has contributed tremendously to the growth of our brand as Uganda on the international stage, and we know very well that many athletes, many football players, many rugby players, many sportsmen have come from sportsmen and women have come from Gulu town.
At a function to hand over the stadium to the district officials, painters who did the refurbishment went through marching around the city. Gulu City Mayor Okwanga Alfred, who presided over the handover of the stadium, hailed the work done by Plascon and equally highlighting the significance of Pechewo Memorial Stadium in grooming talent.
This is really a very noble cause, and you know, here we have a lot of abundant talents in our youth. They are very energetic, they are very talented, and we want to promote talents. And if we get an organization, companies.
Plascon further went ahead to give more training to all the painters, targeting Gulu as the new formulated city.
That's all we had time for this particular newscast. Some of the activities and the top stories that transpired during this week. More updates and activities of the day will be coming your way later on in a subsequent news hours. Keep watching UBC. My name is Sandra Kahunde, and from the entire team behind the scene, wish you a beautiful Sunday and take good care of yourselves. God bless you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.